Hey everybody, welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Scott, joined by Rach.
Hi.
And Rach.
Look at me when you say
I know.
Rach.
I just sort of, go to either or, Rich or Rach, commonly confused.
It's easy to mix us up. Yeah.
It is a little bit, but not to worry. So the latest Nintendo Switch Direct was last night at like 11 p.m. or something ridiculous.
For us, anyway.
It was like half an hour of just, standard Nintendo crap at the minute, which is just relentless rollout of announcements and different bits and things. So one of the biggest takeaways is that they detailed their online plan, which has been hinted at and they've sort of gone into a little bit before, but we've got a full-on breakdown of pricing and exactly what we're getting and all that kind of stuff. Your initial thoughts, please. What did you think?
Well, it was fun having it for free while it lasted. Literally March 2017, if you put it that way. Like, I've been playing Splatoon and Mario Kart like for free for a year and a half now, and suddenly I'm getting charged for it. So my first thoughts were like, okay, fine, it was good while it lasted, but I mean, there's other good stuff coming too.
Yeah. It's an interesting one because we went into it knowing most of the stuff that was coming. Like, we knew there was going to be the NES stuff, we knew there was going to be cloud saves, and the et cetera, et cetera. And then they turned around and went, it's going to be here in, what was it, like 6 days?
It's
like
Tuesday.
Whoa!
I mean, today is Friday. It's coming on Tuesday. I'm like, okay.
The worst thing is I can't afford to pay for it straight away, so I'm going to be off. I'm going to be away from Mario Kart.
Well, do you know what you're going to miss out on not paying for it? These hot NES games, mate. I'm going to read out these games, right? And I want you guys to react because my initial take on this whole thing is that it doesn't do anything for me. Like they released the NES Mini and we've seen these games a million times before and hanging like a premium service and you get the games from 30 years ago. I'm like, okay, fine, but
I did get the NES Mini. Was it last year or the year before?
Last year, I think.
I got it and I was like,
wasn't it?
SNES was last year.
I barely played it, so I'm a bit like, okay.
Well, how does Ghosts and Goblins grab you?
Okay, very difficult game. I have been wanting to try that, so I'm actually quite interested in that.
It's worth pointing out with all of these that they have emulated them, so they're in like HD or whatever, and like a lot of them have online leaderboards or just straight up online play, so you can go head to head.
Admittedly, is pretty damn cool.
It's good. It's neat. I mean,
cool.
Yeah, that's the thing that they're adding that the other consoles didn't. So I guess there's that. Excite Bike is pretty sweet.
Excite Bike.
Yeah, classic thing. Tecmo Bowl. Yeah.
What?
Not heard of that one.
Tecmo Bowl, mate. Do you want 2D bowling?
I mean, we're a little younger.
Okay, sure.
We're a little younger, so maybe that's our excuse.
I've not got Jules with me.
I'm the young one here.
I'm the old man complaining about the lack of new stuff. Yoshi's on here as well, the original Yoshi, which is kind of cool.
What, is it just called Yoshi?
It's just called Yoshi. That was back when he was making his debut, I guess.
I thought he debuted in Super Mario World.
I don't know. Yoshi's on the list, mate. So, yeah.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Yoshi's Crafted World?
No, that's coming later. I wrote down the Yoshis, so apparently that's a thing. We're also getting Double Dragon, which is one of the best co-op games ever made. It's very basic.
Okay.
But, I mean,
it's an NES game at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it's the progenitor of the whole, side-scrolling brawler type thing. You've got to be in the right lane to attack people. Streets of Rage style. But Double Dragon very much got that off the ground. Gradius, if anyone's bothered about Gradius. Nice little bit of shooty.
Not heard of that.
I've heard of Gradius, but I can't.
You've not heard of
I have heard of Gradius.
So high I can go. Gradius is very nice. And we've also got ice hockey, which comes from a time when they just named the game whatever it was. Just sort of
like
golf,
calling pong
basketball.
Tennis.
Yeah, there's a bit of tennis and basketball. We've also got River City Ransom, which is a fantastic game, which clearly these two youngins don't know about. I'm only like a few years older than them. But River City Ransom's very good. I'd recommend that's pretty good. Pro Wrestling's on here as well.
Okay.
Yay, wrestling fans.
I know what that is.
Yep, and then the last one, again, coming from the same era of just name the thing what it is, baseball. So, nice bit of baseball. And they've also said they're coming up, they're going to be continuously adding to this. They, as part of the announcement thing, was like, hey, look at all these bits of box art, and we'll have these games in the future. So some of them that I picked out, I mainly picked out Balloon Fight because
Balloon Fight is pretty great.
Yeah, Balloon Fight is fantastic, and assumedly it'll have the whole online mode thing too. And they've also said Ninja Gaiden's coming too. But as far as
they said Legend of Zelda as well, the original.
Yeah, but that wasn't on the 10 games that were announced last night. So I think Zelda's getting plugged in later.
Probably.
Dr. Mario is definitely coming.
Dr. Mario
that was on the review.
Oh, and let's do the 10 that I've just read out were the ones that were added to the list that was already out there.
They had a shot of people playing Dr. Mario online, and I'm like,
that's just
either way.
That'd be fun.
I don't know if you guys have looked at the pricing tier. What would your ballpark figure be that you would comfortably pay before I tell you how much it is?
I mean,
well, they said it was $20, so I'm assuming it's £20.
I think they've said it is still going to be 20. They're not going to do the whole. We're going to be paying like $17.99. I think it's still going to be £20 for us. But
it is, yeah. So
£20 is all right. right.
Yeah, well, there's 3 tiers. You can pay 1 month, 3 month, or 12. It's either £3.50, £7, or £17.99. I think that's
It is £17.99.
Yes,
that's
for the year.
Okay.
So like that's a good price for a selection of like some of the best games of all time. Again, the only problem that I have is just that it just feels a little bit underwhelming because they kind of undercut themselves with the NES Mini and the fact that these emulations have been available for decades.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like, hey, give us money for the same thing that you already owned, and a lot of Nintendo people already own them on the Virtual Console.
Yeah.
So there's kind of that. There's no carryover if you already bought these on the Wii U.
Yeah.
Then
So-
I'm hoping that this back catalog service is going to be something that's available like as a subscription thing, rather than it being like, oh, we're going to replace these games, we're just going to keep adding to it. And while you're still subscribed to the online service, you have access to all of these games.
Like a Game Pass type style.
So rather than introducing a virtual console and having to rebuy them separately, if they kept it as like a subscription-based thing, I could get behind that.
The weird quandary with that is that the way that they showed it off is like, hey, if you're subscribed to this, paid premium service, you get access to these games. Does that mean that if you're somewhere without an internet connection, you can't get onto your library? Because that seems like some Nintendo
unless they announce that they're going to do the virtual console successor, and you can get those games if you buy them.
Maybe.
Right, if you don't pay for the online. I don't know,
because
they were still, even though we got those 5 points about what it is, it's still kind of vague.
Yeah,
I guess we have to just jump in next week and see how it actually works.
Yeah, and like plus, I mean, you've got like the PS4 does it where if you buy PS Plus games and you're not connected, you can't play them. Whereas the
I
Xbox,
hate that. I hate
whereas
that.
like the Xbox gives you it, and even if you're disconnected, it's fine. You can still play them. Microsoft
I've still
being
got my
very
like
nice.
Games for Gold from like 2013 or way before then on my.
But
Xbox.
even if you haven't kept up the payments, you still keep those games, which is cool.
That was
So,
the thing that threw
I
me
guess
about
we'll
PS
see.
Plus, because I got my like 3 months of PS Plus when I bought my PS4 and got loads of cool games, got Just Cause 3 and loads of stuff. And then I thought, I'm not going to pay you anymore because I don't play any of these online, and it was like a big old padlock on my dashboard. I'm like, what?
Pay us more to unlock it. So yeah, I mean, like I guess closing thoughts on the Switch Online service, kind of cautiously optimistic, I guess.
Closing thoughts are, guess I'm gonna have to pay for it, but I'm
Yeah.
not like hugely excited about it, but I'm gonna have to because Splatoon.
There is Splatoon, Mario Kart. I mean, the thing is, it seems a little bit begrudging. Like everyone's just sort of like, fine, we knew you were going to get around to it eventually.
Yeah.
We knew that we've been like, singing in the sun for most of the year because it was free, and like, fine, we'll pay it.
Pretty excited that they're finally implementing cloud saving because I have like
Yeah.
130 hours on Zelda. That say if I did fancy the Pokemon Let's Go Switch, which by the way that was also that was announced the other day, wasn't it? It looks very cute.
Then you wouldn't lose any of your data.
I could go for that. That's viable now, which is nice.
One of the things with that is that they've said that only certain titles support cloud saves. Now, assuming all their first-party stuff will, but already there's like a handful of developers saying like, actually, we can't support this.
I think
and it's not the best.
Dark Souls was confirmed to not support it.
Right.
Is that
coming out on Switch? Is that even a thing?
October 19th.
19th.
Just get out of here with your young
That is when you
madness.
will.
That's not a thing at all. So yes, closing thoughts, Mr. Rich, on the Switch Online.
At the end of the day, I'm going to be paying it to play Mario Kart, and I'm happy that we're getting a bit more out of it. If they just turned around and said, oh, you've got the smartphone app, the cloud saves, and the online play, if that was it, then it would be like,
Very quickly, the voice app stuff is a neat idea. It's very Nintendo. It's very like you get the chat app on your phone. You can't chat through the game, although games like Fortnite allow it.
Yeah.
But you go through the app, and basically they want you to have it on loudspeaker so that a whole room of people can talk to each other. And it's like that's a nice party-based idea. It's very Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo!
But like no one's gonna do that.
Just having it built in would just make a lot more sense.
And the Switch can already handle that. Like Fortnite already has.
Although, unless they release a new Pro controller or some kind of like, hey, you can buy this Nintendo branded 3.5mm extension lead.
A chat controller. Maybe.
It's because they've kind of they've missed a trick on not making those controllers supportive of like a headphone jack like the Xbox One controller and the DualShock 4 already do. They might upgrade it, they might update it, I don't know.
It is a missing feature, like you said, the competition has it.
But then, I mean, obviously using a smartphone instead does bridge that gap, but it would just be nice to have it all in one place.
True, and speaking of controllers, they showed, one of the last things about the Switch Online thing is that you get access to exclusive rewards. And the thing that they showed was an NES-themed set of Joy-Cons.
I'm sorry, but how ugly are they? How they're so bad.
I think they're very, very cool. But as soon as I saw the Switch rail, I thought, oh my god! And then they docked them on the video. How stupid does that look?
I don't know. The thing that I really like about the Joy-Cons is that you can turn them sideways and play them like an NES controller anyway. Like I get the theming around it.
I think they should have just, because when they mentioned about playing it, I thought they were just going to do some Joy-Cons that were just like NES themed.
Like
Yes.
coloured,
Like
yeah.
coloured ones would be really, really good.
But it seems like they've steered into it.
They're a cool novelty, but there are loads of third-party controllers you can get working with the Switch anyway.
I wish my mini NES controllers worked with this, like somehow,
yeah.
like that would be great because I
Because
had two of those, which I bought, and now I'm like, okay.
They have the proprietary jack, the one they used on the nunchuck for the Wii, because they've got
Yeah,
apparently
that's what
like
it
hundreds
is.
of
Yeah,
thousands of
it's
these
not
still lying
USB.
around.
Yeah.
That's why they still have them. So if they made like an adapter, that would probably go down a storm, similar to the GameCube one.
Yeah, that's my largest thing with a lot of this is going forward. It's always like, oh my god, we love Nintendo, and they have this like endless well of love, and it's fine. But they don't really have a through line of respect for the consumer. It's always cough up the cash for the new thing. It's never will cater to what you've already paid for.
Yeah.
And so like, there's always an undercurrent of kind of cynical me just being like, well, actually, we've already bought this, and we've already paid for this, and can you not just sort of carry that through? But whatever. Let's get into some specific game announcements. What I noticed across the board, we'll get to the new stuff in a minute, is that there are so many ports. There's so many. Here's this thing from years ago. It's now coming to the Switch. Like we had Diablo 3. We had all the Mario Brothers games from the Wii U. So many Final Fantasies.
Ganondorf though.
Ganondorf though.
In Diablo 3.
I guess, just, new content for the thing you like from 7 years
At the end of the day,
ago.
they're like, oh, we've released all these amazing games for the Wii U, but nobody bought the Wii U, so we're going to try and just introduce them to a new audience.
Oh, that stuff's great.
And I get that, because there are loads of games now coming to the Switch that I couldn't play because I didn't buy a Wii U. Things like Captain Toad, now New Super Mario Bros. U, like
Donkey
the games
Kong.
I wanted to play. And Tropical Freeze.
Tropical Freeze, yes.
Like stuff that's coming through now onto Switch, that platform I do actually own. I do appreciate that, but I do understand the whole, give us some new games, Nintendo.
So there's been a bit of a mix. Like, we've got like it's definitely a worthwhile business strategy carrying across stuff from the Wii U because like 3 people have a Wii U and like 2 of them are in this room. And so there's that.
Especially since they're not just doing blunt ports, they're adding more to it. They're not just going, here you go, have this.
So like, it's a good way to get, like you said, get those games in front of people that can actually play them. But it is still a very big noticeable part of the whole Direct, and it has been Nintendo's thing with the Switch is like, here's all these other last gen games that we're kind of up-resing, which is neat. And you've got a lot of Final Fantasies coming through. I just thought it was telling with Final Fantasy that you're getting Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition, which is the Android phone version. And it's like, right, okay.
I mean, it's kind of cute. I mean, it's just like they were like, oh hey, we heard that Switch owners like Final Fantasy. Let's give them 7 and 9 and 10 and 12 and let's give them a Chocobo game and let's give them this.
I've got to point out as well, why is there no love for 8? 8's one of the best ones.
There's a Final Fantasy 8?
There's a Final Fantasy 8 Nintendo, and you just don't even put it on there. Like 7, 9, 10, and 12 are the ones that are coming alongside Pocket Edition and Crystal Chronicles, but they didn't put 8 on it. 8's one of the best ones. And not even the Balam Garden. Best music in the trilogy, I'm telling you. But whatever. Actually, newer stuff. We got a new Luigi's Mansion. So
that's cool.
Okay,
there was a part of me that was hoping it was just a port of the first one, because I haven't played any of them.
Well, the first one is coming to 3DS for the 4 people that own a 3DS.
This is so good. I
want a 3DS and I want a Vita, but I just don't feel like I could really buy
they're the
them.
absolute best. I cannot scream from the rooftops enough about how good the 3DS and the Vita
love my 3DS, but I've played it maybe once since I got a Switch. So I was more excited about Luigi's Mansion 3 being on the Switch. I swear to God, if anyone was like 2 minutes late to the Direct and you would have missed, probably in my opinion, the best announcement of the Direct, which was Luigi's Mansion 3.
Oh, I'll challenge you on that, especially with talking 3DS, because Kirby's Epic Yarn's coming to 3DS, and that's the cutest game ever made.
I think that's really cool. They're porting these games to the 3DS as well, because they did it with Captain Toad as well. They brought that to the 3DS, and the fact that it's still getting some love is really good. Because I mean, was it last Direct they got relegated to the treehouse? All the 3DS.
Like, by the way,
go over there. Just go over there.
There's this stuff too. But I mean, like even like full Smash, the last Smash Brothers got a port onto the 3DS. Like it's a more capable system than I think people realize.
And I think it's good. There was that massive concern when the Switch came out of, oh my God, are they killing the 3DS? And obviously, thankfully, they're not.
No, it does still have like stylus-based games do work obviously a lot better on the 3DS.
It's a delicious.
And I love I've still got my DSi, and I love it to bits.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo have always had a foot, or pretty much all the limbs in the handheld market, and it's like you might as well keep plugging away at that stuff. So the next thing, speaking of worlds, is Yoshi's Crafted World, which now has a proper title instead of just unannounced Yoshi game.
Because the only Yoshi game I really put mega time into was Yoshi's Island DS.
Right.
And just seeing that, just the mechanics of it again, it's like, I just really want to play this. It's just so fun.
So it looks lush, and like the way that they've gone forward with it, one of the unique mechanics is that you can flip the world back and forward. It seems like you're inside like little play sets, I guess.
Very like Super Paper Mario on the Wii. Like I loved that game, and Yoshi's Crafted World looks a bit like that.
It's a nice art style. And
I love that with the Nintendo platformers. Like, you know, you've got Woolly World and you've got Epic Yarn, and they're like, hey, let's just turn. mean, originally Yoshi's Island was meant to be designed as a drawn game, as a hand-drawn thing, and I just love that they're still playing up on that, and it looks amazing.
That old art style still looks gorgeous today as well, the old SNES one. I kind of wish that they would do, seeing as they're doing the whole crafted art style push, if they'd give us like a cube craft Yoshi, or like some sort of crafted Poochie.
Oh, like
instead of just
Pokemon
standard
Quest.
Or they'll just do like a Yoshi.
I like Pokemon Quest.
Crafted Yoshi amiibo or something.
Yeah, just something that sort of ties them in.
I have the Willy ones.
Yeah, Woolly Yoshi looks adorable. So the next thing is the next game from Game Freak. Now, I think this is the first thing they've made since Pokemon. Now, considering the weight behind the sentence I'm saying, you'd think it would be this thing that would blow all of our faces off.
Well, Pokemon's still
Pokemon's still a thing. But they'd announced Town, which is just
Working
called
title.
Town. Yeah, I mean, it'll still be called Town.
They might rename it to Village.
It just looked a bit, nice little bit of cell shading, and it seemed like standard archetypal JRPG, and like, little dude in a village going on a quest, and then monsters come, and it's like, right, okay.
No, I just go, okay, stick to Pokemon.
Yeah, potentially.
Well, I mean, it could be. This is a very early look at it. It doesn't even have a proper title yet,
True.
so we'll look forward to seeing more about that.
I don't mean to be too negative.
It all takes place in one town, you think?
Yeah, I was like, that's not a selling point, guys.
Way to go against the tropes of here's this huge open world, but like, really?
I think they kind of went for the whole, they're like, well, we're known for being the pocket monster people, so let's mention like something small and crafty, and let's mention some monsters, and then we'll just get back to it later. But it's
essentially
very early in
just
development.
Pokemon taking place only in Little Root Town.
Which I guess it worked for Dark Cloud, so maybe there's a reference. Next thing up was Katamari Damacy.
Oh my god, yes!
Is it a sequel or a re-release?
It's a new game.
Right, okay.
Damacy, isn't it? Well,
Damacy's an old one.
I thought they were like, it's like a remake.
They've
added like a bunch of stuff in, like as they're doing with the ports anyway.
Which is kind of like I said, like the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze approach, where it's like, here's the old game you love with a few new things.
Did that have? Yeah, exactly. I think that is amazing. Like, it's one of the weirdest games I've ever seen, and I'd love to play it. I've never played the old one.
I just loved it when they showed off the gyro controller. There's just these hands at the bottom corner going, way!
There's something about, Katamari Damacy is one of the first sort of like Eastern games that made it big in the 2000s. It was like that and Nobi Nobi Boy, and it kind of paved the way for like Yakuza and whatever. Like, there was kind of just an embracement of like more Eastern themed art styles, and even games like Okami kind of like it laid the groundwork for people to be more embracing of Eastern games. And even if you want to just try something completely different, try Katamari, because it's just rolling up a massive ball of everything, and you just roll through a huge environment.
Like, that's literally
that's kind of literally it. I mean,
the king be like, go and roll around and collect me some things.
It's kind of like the new game from this year called Donut County. It's like the opposite of that, because in Donut County you're sucking everything into a hole, but in this you're trying to get as much stuff on the surface as possible.
Yeah.
So it looks kind of cool. One of the other things they showed off was a port of City Skylines with all the DLC.
Oh god.
But this thing looks so rough, and it's a shame because Cities is a fantastic game.
Because as soon as it came up, it said City Skylines.
I was like,
whoa,
what?
Yeah. This is. And then in the trailer stuff, like when they showed off all the not so much the building, but when they showed like the overlays of like, oh, this is what's happening in your city. It looks all right, and then it's like, here's everything running in 3D, and it was choppy as.
Yeah, it's very, very ambitious.
And it's
a little
like,
too ambitious
for a game like City Skylines running on like my PC. You have to bring it down because it is still it can be really graphically intensive, and putting that on the Switch is an ambitious thing. And I read this thing this morning, and it said the developers were like, oh, it runs like ass on docked because we want to. We know the experience that Switch users want is in handheld, so it's going to run better on handheld than it does in docked. And it's like, that is the worst excuse.
Maybe they should have put that in the trailer.
For a lame-ish port of a PC game.
I mean,
to the Switch.
like Rach says, it is incredibly ambitious, and like it's good to see them trying to push the Switch more. But
definitely.
The trailer did have a lot of noticeable frame rate drops.
Choppy.
I was like, is my stream buffering? Like what? But I mean, but at the heart of it, City Skylines is the best SimCity game ever so far.
Yeah.
So it's gorgeous. So hopefully they can kind of turn it around.
But it's like, because it came out that day, didn't it? So we're out today.
Yeah,
it's like, it
tonight.
doesn't look finished. But yeah, it seems to be the early reports saying it doesn't run very well. It's like, oh.
Yeah, maybe it needs a little bit more.
However, I am much more excited about what I assume you're going to mention next, which was the next sort of city type
no, we're ending on that. That's your
okay.
main headline of that. No, we need to get to another thing which is very ambitious, which sort of speaks to the capabilities of the Switch, which is that the Switch is getting a version of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But it's not.
Is it?
Yeah, but it's not on cartridge. It's being streamed in, like what Resident Evil 7 was.
I missed that. I must have been still excited about
in the direct, was it?
I don't know.
I don't think it was. Seeing that, no.
It might have been in that big, like, you know, they do the whole, here's like a bunch of games we can't be asked to give any big time to. Here's this chopping.
It's definitely one of the announcements that's been tied in with that period.
That's weird.
It's a thing. The way that they got around putting Resident Evil 7 on the Switch was to do the cloud-based thing and stream it all in.
I mean, if it works, then it opens up that door for developers who don't want to like do stuff for Switch because I know that it's quite their developers are wary of doing it. But just again, the idea of doing streamed games.
The problem with that is that so far with Resident Evil 7, it's only been available in Japan because the Japanese infrastructure, and as far as broadband connections go, it's way more stable across the entire region. So they can reliably say Resident Evil 7 is available on Switch and people can actually get access to it.
Okay.
Whereas if you do that in the West, then the average internet connection, I mean, we can barely keep ours going
just look at WhatCulture
during a stream. So we do what you can, but trying to fall back on that as a reliable delivery method for a game, it's just not that reliable.
That is ambitious.
But yeah, they announced Assassin's Creed as being cloud streamed. I don't think they've nailed down the regions just yet, but it's like I said, it's indicative of what the Switch can do. Quote unquote.
There was a rumor that there was going to be something Call of Duty related announced for the Switch yesterday. Like there were massive rumors going around ages ago that Blackout was going to come to Switch. Just Blackout by itself, which would be pretty cool. But obviously we didn't hear anything about that.
It seems like go on.
Sorry, I was going to say Fortnite doesn't run too bad.
Fortnite runs pretty well, I must say, and I feel very, very ill for saying that.
But yeah, they managed to pull Fortnite off on Android, so it's like it makes sense.
That's a good point, actually.
All right on a Switch,
yeah, okay.
but like
maybe not a good comparison.
No. But still, though, it's a big AAA game, and they managed to get it running. So I think you're seeing developers test the waters with what kind of other big, like Resident Evil 7 is very much here's a gorgeous looking game.
Because I know the Capcom were kind of concerned about it because like they weren't. It is Capcom that did Monster Hunter, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, they really didn't want to put it on the Switch. They
but
really did not.
They've compromised. They have compromised.
Yeah, but. Like obviously Bethesda have gone balls deep with the Switch. Like they're just going, yeah, fuck it, we'll just play it.
Yeah, I mean a lot of Bethesda's games, like their engine is already across multiple old generations, so it kind of fits the hardware of the Switch. Whereas like when you're trying to retrofit something newer for a slightly older generation tech, then whatever. But like I said, at least they're being ambitious. And Bethesda, like you said, got Doom working on it, so I guess there is that.
Yeah, Doom Eternal and Wolfenstein 2.
You have.
I have uno
had a
more
little.
thing.
I've had a little spy on Scott's notes. He's forgotten something.
Has he?
Civilization 6,
Civ 6.
people.
Well, go on, take the floor.
That's quite an ambitious
game,
game, but it's like again, it's not massively graphically intensive, so it will probably run really well on the Switch.
I'm really excited.
Actually,
about
another thing, the tabletop stuff. They got the devs in to port a bunch of like board games and stuff to the Switch.
For a reason, mate.
Clever.
I mean, it's interesting. It's good to have like a big variety of things available for every type of person.
Plus, like, I mean, the idea of taking the Switch like as a handheld system, if you're on like a car journey or on a bus or whatever, turning the Switch sideways and just playing like a digital makeshift board game is like one of the coolest ideas they could have. So
cool.
it does
Also, we've completely forgotten something. Forget about the big thing at the end. Mario Party has got a dance mode.
I mean. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. What? As in they'll track your movements. Yeah, that's actually because they were doing poses.
Yeah, there's like you can play the whole. You can go in the kart mode together. You can do your standard 4-player thing, or you can do a dance mode. Like strike a pose and start a mini game. Like,
why not? I mean, yeah, the amount of stuff that they're throwing into that, it is very kitchen sink, but in a really, really good way.
But it's all original. Apparently, they did all 80 mini games are completely original for this game.
Speaking of original things, Animal Crossing is finally getting a full-on Switch new sequel type thing.
The way the Nintendo handled that last night was just absolutely.
It was full on. And you made the comparison to the Gears of War troll from E3.
Yeah, when they're like, hey, here's a new Gears game. It's a pop vinyl game. Oh, actually, here's Gears 5.
So the way Nintendo did it was like, here's Isabella from Animal Crossing, and she's like, and it's like, oh my god, it's going to be Animal Crossing. And then she receives a memo, and it says, they want me in Smash. And then
everyone just went,
like, oh god,
I was like, Nintendo, why? Why would you do that to me? But then still had that little sort of glimmer in my heart, like, right. They did this before. They did this with King K. Rool, and it turned out to be Dedede, and then they were like, oh no, it's actually King K. Rool.
I kind of thought they're not going to tease it in that. They're not going to steer into it that much if they're not going to follow it up.
And then they did follow up saying Animal Crossing 2019.
Big Tom Nook dropped in. It's just called Animal Crossing, but it don't have a name for it yet. One of the rumor titles was Animal Prison, which doesn't seem.
That was not a rumor, Scott. It was a joke.
Animal Prison.
Because is it Masahiro Sakurai, the guy that does Smash? Sakurai, yeah. And they had on that same post that you mentioned there with Animal Prison, they had Waluigi with him in a fucking headlock, so it definitely wasn't real. Animal Prison. Nobody leaves.
We could predict. What do we think the new Animal Crossing will be called? I mean, you guys can let us know your thoughts.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's going to be just Animal Crossing.
Maybe.
Remember when they first teased Yoshi, they just called it Yoshi.
I guess it's like the working title thing.
If they called it that. But.
Yeah, you kind of got a few working titles. Metroid Prime 4. I think they'll probably end up giving that something else.
I think that'll just be Metroid Prime 4.
Maybe.
To be honest. But.
I think it's going to be Animal Crossing, new tree.
Animal Crossing Smash Brothers DLC. We tricked you once, we tricked you again. Hey!
Either way, though, we know that we're finally getting Animal Crossing in 2019, so it's a long time coming. And the last time everyone really dove into Animal Crossing was New Leaf, which is like 2013.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed by the one on the Wii U and the home
designer as well.
That was, I mean,
and they did the app as well, didn't they?
Oh god, yeah.
The app was good, but it was very freemium, like.
Yeah, it was very repetitive. But not to worry, that was Nintendo's Direct as of September 13th, I think, the day, whatever day we're on.
It's okay, he doesn't know how old he is.
No, but don't worry about that for now.
Let's not get into that.
You guys can let us know what you think down in the comments below of everything that we've just said. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com.
I have been Rach.
I have been Rich.
And we'll catch you guys soon.
Just to confuse you. Bye.
Bye.